Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new session of the HPP Innovation Week. This time we will be discussing about the regional insights and the global impact of the HPP market. And to talk about this, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce a great representation of our commercial team here. So I think they will be joining the session in this order. Jorge Marraud from Asia. Hi, Jorge. How
Hello,
are you doing?
everyone. Hi, Oscar. Thank you for
So,
the introduction. It's a pleasure to
yeah,
be here.
Yeah, great to have you here as well. I prefer that you guys start presenting yourselves. So, yes, Jorge, go ahead.
Hello, I'm George Mao. I'm the director for Hiperbaric Asia. I've been taking care of Asia at Hyperbaric for the last 6 years, and it's a very dynamic area. So I hope that during these events in the Innovation Week, we'll have an opportunity to have a glimpse at what's going on in Asia.
Okay, now thank you, Jorge. I think it's time to welcome David.
Hi everyone.
Hi, David. How are you doing? So again,
Very
just feel
good.
free
Thank you for
to.
having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I take care of projects in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. In Europe, I take care of projects in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Also, the Baltic and the Nordic, and again the Middle East and Africa. And it will be my pleasure discussing today with my colleagues on the opportunities and the trend that we see in the different markets.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Now let's go with Marta. She's the HPP sales manager. Your turn, Marta.
Hi, Oscar. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. So I'm Marta Onrubia, and I am the responsible of the projects in Spain and part of Europe, together with my colleague David and Maria. I'm taking care especially of the projects in Western Europe. So thank you, and let's discuss all together about the trends here.
Okay, perfect. And let's cross now the Atlantic, referring to another markets. Now, María Barreal. Hi, María.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being today here with us. I'm María Barreal. I'm commercial area specialist in Latin America, French-speaking countries, Portugal, and recently Italy. So it's my pleasure to be here with you.
All right, thank you, Maria. And finally, Roberto.
Last but not least, my name is Roberto Peregrina. I am in charge of the U.S. Division for Hyperbaric and also take care of some of Oceania or Australia, New Zealand projects. From time to time, there's also a market that is growing. And yes, thank you so much for being here with us. It's been a pleasure. All this week has been full of good sessions, and I hope this is another one for you guys that you enjoy.
Okay, thank you all. So yes, I can say that at Hyperware we are really proud to have such a solid, cooperative commercial team with so many HPP projects behind, and if we sum the all the total experience of the team, we have several decades of experience in the field of HPP. So yeah, great to have you all here. And yeah, before moving forward with the panel discussion, I would like to present a few slides that I think will help the attendees to better understand a little bit the HPP market worldwide. So we are Hyperbaric, the global leader in hyperscale technologies. You can see here our offices all around the world. So with our headquarters here in Burgos, Spain, then we also have an office in the US, in Miami, and also in Mexico. Now we have very recently opened a new office in Shanghai. We are eager to see how everything goes there, and with Jorge here, I'm sure we can have a better view of that. And also we have some offices and representations in Australia and New Zealand. So as you can see, to provide the best service all around the world. And I would like to next slide to show you how the HPP market has evolved and since during the last 2 decades. This is a graph showing the global evolution of HPP systems. As you can see, the growth is tremendous, especially in the last decade. And yeah, we expect that with the consumer trends and everything that we discuss in this session, this trend continues in the future. Next, you can see here the map, and we can see where our systems are installed all around the world. So North America, biggest market with almost 50% of the units. Then Europe with 25 more or less. Asia with 20%, but we can say that growing, and yeah, with them we can say maybe the market with the biggest potential so far for the moment. And then at another level we can name Oceania, Latin America, and Africa. And finally, I would like to show this representation of the different applications. So HPP is a really versatile technology, and juices and beverages is the main application so far, followed by meat products with meat products with everything started here at Hiperbaric. Then the third one is guacamole and avocado products, great representation in Mexico and Latin America. And then followed by tolling services. Tolling services, we mean those companies owning a hyperbaric machine and offering the HPP service to third parties. And then other applications such as seafood, salsas, and plant-based products, ready-to-eat meals, baby food, pet food, or dairy products. So we are good now to start the panel discussion. I think we can have all the colleagues back again on the screen. Okay, perfect. And yeah, very, very glad to start with the first question. Which are the most prominent regions, countries within your area for HPP? I think, Rob, you can start, for example.
Yeah, so for us, or for the whole group, USA, well, not USA, but North America, I think it takes the majority of the, not the majority, but at least 50% of the sales of our group go to North America, at least Mexico, the US, and Canada. So it's approximately 50% of the whole sales of our company go to this market. So it's by far the fastest growing, and I think that's in my opinion that's where the majority of the growth is, especially here in North America. Our existing customers are also growing. They're adding more equipment to their factories, and also with things like products like guacamole and all that. A lot of companies are joining the guacamole movement, and they're also adding capacity or vertically integrating their company, so they no longer rely on third parties to create their own products, so they can get a full circle in their operations.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting. What about Asia, Jorge?
So here, traditionally in Asia, I would like to mention that there's been a change, let's say, in the leading country in terms of adoption of HPP. Traditionally, Japan has been the largest market for Asia, and Korea has also been an important market that has been growing a lot in the last 3 years. But recently, the lack of a proper, let's say, regulatory frame for HPP in Japan has staggered the adoption in the country, and that has led to Japan losing importance, especially with the rise of China. After COVID, we saw that both Chinese and Korean also customers were demanding for more natural products, especially in terms of juices, because they are conscious of the benefits of raw fruits in their immune system and overall health, and that has been driving demand for the technology a lot in these two countries. So I'll say that the aftermath of COVID, there's been an interesting shift of the focus in terms of adoption of the technology towards China.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting. How the different countries in this area has evolved so far. David, what about your region?
Okay, respecting my area, the projects in Europe are mainly the countries which have more HPP machines are in the Mediterranean countries. So my colleague Marta, which is taking care of sales in this area, will tell later. And on the rest of Europe, my main projects have been traditionally on the north and central Europe. But lately, I've seen a change in the trend as well, and now it's more the north countries, especially Nordic, where we have more and more projects regarding specifically seafood. And then on the Middle East, we are seeing a lot of growth in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, where we have installed 3 machines last year, and we are installing 2 this year as well. So we are seeing that this market is getting consolidated as the most important in the region, with not only new customers but also customers repeating purchasing, which means that they are happy with the technology overall, and the market is reacting well to the HPP products. And in Africa, traditionally we have been having only machines in South Africa, and now for this exercise 2024 and especially 2025, we see that there will be a growth in North Africa, especially Morocco and this part of Africa. So yeah, the trend is also changing, and we are getting more consolidated in this market.
Okay, David, thank you. So I go now. Perfect. So as David said, the Mediterranean area probably is the place where we have installed more machines here in Europe. And I would like to highlight the role of Spain here because, well, Spain is where we are, is where our headquarters and workshop are, is where we installed the first machine 25 years ago in the meat sector. And right now we have more than 30 equipment in all the sectors: seafood, avocado, juice and beverage, etc. It's a small country in terms of dimension, but we are the second, or Spain is the second country in terms of machines installed for us right after US. So even being a small country, we have a lot of machines around. And comparing with Europe in general, we got 35% of the machines installed in the area. So I think it's an important point in general in the world for the technology.
All right, perfect. And finally, Maria, please.
Yes, well, I'm going to go on with Europe, and here from my side, France, it's an important country with 10 machines installed. Also Italy, where the HPP production is mainly in the north of the country, and in Portugal, basically it's nearby Lisbon. From Latin America area, the main countries using HPP technology are Peru, Chile, Colombia, and Brazil. However, this big continent has a lot of opportunities ahead due to the quality and variety of fruits and the privileged geographical position.
Okay, well, you mentioned the fruit ambers and raw materials of this area, and I would like to continue with you, Maria, talking about the main applications in Latin America.
Well, obviously, the avocado sector takes a lot of importance, followed by juices and meat products. On the other hand, there are some new applications already in the market as ready-to-eat products and cold brew coffee. That's from Latin America side. For those in Europe, I should remark the spreads and veggie products in France, like hummus, tzatziki, guacamole, but also juices and seafood. In Portugal, additional to those named, the well-known soups. Finally, in Italy, it's a very good in HPP meat products, mainly to export, and also juices and cheeses.
Okay, yeah, one thing that you mentioned, Maria, is the in Italy, majority of products produced in Italy are for export, predominantly here in the U.S. And as you know, U.S. has a zero tolerance for pathogens. So therefore, some of these companies, and we've seen it in the last year or so, they're adopting HPP to be able to export those products to the U.S., and which is the case of a couple of customers that we, as you know, we've close business with, and they're exporting to the U.S. And one of the challenges that they're facing is that the recalls here in the U.S. can be extremely expensive, and it could cost the brand or cost the whole business. So that's HPP is like a big insurance policy for them, and therefore they're adopting this technology to enter this market.
Yeah, good
Totally
point
agree.
there. Actually, that is how everything begins here at Hyperbaric and with the meat sector, as Marta mentioned, with some players in Spain and Italy, for example. And Rob, what about other applications in the US, such as maybe pet food? You want to mention something or any
Yeah,
other?
so I think right now the pet food is gaining a lot of traction. I think, and as you know, a lot of people is having lots of dogs. At least here in the U.S., there's lots of dogs, and obviously the pet owners are um, worried about giving them not only good products but a good nutrition. And HPP could also help companies to obtain good quality and safe products and also the nutritious products. So right now we've seen in the market a big increase in the use of HPP for pet food, baby food, um, and also some new products, a new category of ready-to-eat meals. So a lot of people, a lot of customers are getting very creative and doing, making life easier for consumers, putting ready-to-eat meats, already cooked, just microwavable, and even selling meal kits for the whole week. So people don't have to bother about cooking anymore, and they can get a very good quality and safe food. So those are the main applications that we've seen here. Summarizing is pet food, baby food, and ready-to-eat meals. The juice industry continues growing, but it's only the big players who are um, fighting the big fight. Unless you have something extremely novel, you can get into the market, but you have to face the big players here in the US. So unless, as I mentioned, unless you have something different to offer in the market, it's in the juice industry is tough. The juice industry it's a very tough, and it's protected by the big players. So they are the gatekeepers of the market, and it's pretty hard to get in there. But if you have a good product, good quality, because we've seen it with a couple of customers that just entered the market, they have a different proposal to different proposition to the consumers, and they're accepting and they're growing. So that's the in my view what's happening here on this side of the world.
Okay, perfect. What about Jorge, David? What about your exotic areas? Any specific product or innovative? Or yeah, how is everything there regarding applications?
So, on my end, if I may, David, go first. I think we have different, actually, a different situation as the one Roberto described. We're in a completely different maturity phase. So we're in the adoption of juice by the big retailers. HPP juices are becoming more and more mainstream in the sense that they can be found in retailers or convenience stores. So juices will remain the driver for the growth of the market in the next years. But we're also seeing a lot of interest, especially in the ready meals applications for large restoration chains. So you can imagine with the size of India and China, it's very logistically, it's very complex to cover enormous populations and regions. So more and more restaurants, every time they grow, they prefer to have a central kitchen and then outlets across the city. So for more efficiency. So HPP can help a lot here because basically it allows you to extend the shelf life while remaining the quality of the product. So in that sense, I anticipate that the growth for the after juices, the second market will be in these kind of applications for B2B in restoration. And also we have of course some specific products in the region that might not be, I think you cannot find in other regions, such as durian, which is a product that is very popular amongst Chinese consumers. Typically the best durians are from Malaysia, but also you can find excellent product in Indonesia, Thailand, etc. The problem with durian is that in order for the fruit to be tasty for the customers, it needs to be very ripe. And when it goes very ripe, it often exhibits high bacteria counts. So without damaging the quality of the product, because the taste is really specific and complex, the only technology that can help to lower those bacteria in order to meet the requirements of the authorities is HPP. So we've been saying in the late years how durian became perhaps 90% of the capacity installed in Malaysia during durian season. So during durian season, every player in Malaysia will be processing durian, also in Singapore, just to supply to the Chinese market. So it makes sense that as the demand grows, Thailand, Vietnam, or Indonesia also supply durian, will start to apply HPP for durian to export to China. I think that's very specific to China. Probably most of our listeners do not know what a durian is. If they find out, half of them won't like the durian and won't be happy to find out what it is. The other half will like it. Personally, I like it after 6 years living in Singapore, but it's really a unique product. I cannot compare to anything to explain it.
Okay. Yeah, very curious. What about you, David?
Yeah, in my area, I see a very similar trend. Still, juicers is leading this application market here. So 80% of the projects are for liquids, for juices and beverage. Let's not forget that in the Middle East, the alcohol is banned in some countries, and in some others, traditionally, the consumers are not having a lot of alcohol. So when you go to a bar or a restaurant, a fresh juice is usually the first option that any consumer would have. And this is where the opportunity for, HoReCa channels, so not only for retail, that it's also a good point that now, for instance, in markets like Dubai, you can find HPP juices and dips and ready-to-eat meals even in Carrefour and in retail chains. But also when going to hotels, restaurants, then the juices served there can be HPP. And then, as I was already introducing some other traditional meals like dips and salsas, like hummus, tzatziki, and this kind of dips that they are called mese in this area. So they are also HPP because of the better quality, taste, and long shelf life. Also at retail and HoReCa channels. And in South Africa, there are a lot of opportunities also for avocado, because they grow a lot of avocado there. And because of the listeria outbreak that happened in 2016, I think, then most of the protein products like meat and so on are also being processed in order to address this risk. But yeah, more or less the same situation that my colleagues are relating in their markets.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I think it's been a good overview of the different applications all around the world, and very interesting with some specific products and even with some distribution channels, as you mentioned, the HoReCa with uses in Middle East, David. So let's move forward now with the third question, and it's about HPP automation solutions. So how are these solutions impacting the HPP industry?
Oh, I can take that one. So one thing that it's important to mention is that our machines are designed a bit different than other machines in the market. We have a part of being the most ergonomic machine in the market. We have things that we put in place that are part of the machine to make the life of our users even easier. One thing is the return conveyor, which is maybe not considered an automation, but it's an aid to help customers not walking back into the in feed of the machine. So automatically we can put the basket once it's empty back into an automatic conveyor and return that into the in feed of the machine, reducing the labor and the strain of carrying baskets all the time. The dynamics of the automation side of things have changed drastically after COVID. I think one of the main drivers for automation is the lack of good quality people, or getting people to the door is one of the main challenges. At least here in the U.S. and in other markets, they're facing labor shortages, and also the quality of the people that is getting through the doors of the factory is not up to what it used to be. So therefore, a lot of business owners are making taking the decision to utilize automation to not only replace that labor that they're not getting, but also create a better and more accurate production. So with robots, there's no mistake. There's no human error. So there, the human error is eliminated completely. The labor is also eliminated completely. And even though automation may replace some force or workforce, they're also creating new highly skilled jobs, because to operate a robot or to operate one of the automated cells that we put in, you need certain skills. So it's not your average Joe that will go there and press buttons. And you need certain skills to safely operate a piece of equipment. So I think from my point of view is that automation will continue growing. In certain ways, in certain markets, there's definitely labor is still not an issue. Labor is also cheaper than investing in automation. So in some countries there will be no need for it. There will be some need for aids to help, perhaps just reducing the lifting side of things or emptying the baskets in a way that it's easier for the operators, which is something that we also do here in the US. Here in Hiperbaric, and that's my point of view, at least.
Okay, I don't know, Marta and David, if you want to mention something regarding this
Well, I
thing.
think Rob has summarized everything mostly, but well, anyway, I think most of the companies are looking into something more, peripherals or something to help to operate the equipment. Here in Europe, we don't see big installation with robots. There are just a couple of them, but but we can see some machines with some lifting belts lifting belts or tilting station to load the basket. And what they look for with these peripherals is to be more productive, not to reduce the labor, but to make easy the work of the operators, and in long term to reduce the cost of the process. I don't know, David, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, exactly. So, in the words of a customer of a recent project that we have just completed, they were saying that specifically for the application of juicers, so we have the most sophisticated, the more automated solution, which is the bulk system. But when they are working with pre-bottled products, the customer visited some factories, and they say, well, what I see is that the loading and offloading of the products is a bit messy. And when I introduce him the possibility to have this elevation conveyor, the tilting station to offload the product, to accumulation table, the vibrating conveyors to reduce the water from the surface of the products, and so on, it was definitely a game changer. And at the end, they decided to go for HPP with this. You name it very well. So it's simple solutions, but they are very effective, and they improve way better the implementation the implementation of the HPP in the production line.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues is that different countries have different dynamics. So the US, here there's 3 shifts working. So I mean, perhaps the first and the second shift, it's really easy to get people, but the third shift, nobody wants to work those hours anymore. So therefore, automation plays a vital role in filling those shifts, or those graveyard shifts that they're called. Additionally to that, I guess it comes down to the size of the operation as well. The bigger the operation, the more likely is to operators to put automation, because it gets complicated as you grow. So automating it not only reduces the labor, but also simplifies the operation and makes it easier for everyone, because you can pretty much measure at every point what are you producing. And also the elimination of human error, which is sometimes it's natural, it's part of it, and I think by adding automation or certain aids to the project will make it relatively easier for the operators.
All right. So let's go now with the HPP tolling services. What is the relevance of these services in your region, Maria, for example? Start with you.
Well, comparing with the American big tollers in Latin America, there are some of them offering HPP services, but with smaller machines. Well, that gives opportunities to those enterprises that can't afford the purchasing of the equipment, but increase the need of HPP products by consumers, and therefore the necessity to grow that in the market. And finally, setting that goal of acquiring a machine in the near future for those enterprises that cannot assume that cost at the beginning.
Yeah, always a strategic partners, I guess, tollers to spread the voice with HPP technology and put it,
It's
make it
important, I
affordable
think.
make it
Yeah.
affordable for everyone.
Yeah.
What are the rest? Who wants to continue with this?
So with in the US, there's big players here. It's the easiest way to get into market with your product. So we have two types. We have the professional tollers and we have the opportunistic tollers. So we have customers that have extra capacity that they have others to have access to, or we have the tollers that are dedicated to toll. So this is the way it works here. Not so much. Well, in the U.S. It's predominant. Not so much in other countries like in Mexico. In Mexico, majority of companies will buy their own machine. In Canada, we have some tollers, but here in the U.S. it's there's a big market for companies for tollers, especially as I said, if you want to get into the HPP business, you have a product that you want to launch quicker with the least investment, that will be your way to go. So using a toller is the easiest and fastest way of getting your product to market, and we rely on them to get products to market, and we work with them to develop these products and be successful.
Yeah. In my region, most of the tollers are, as Roberto said, opportunistic. They buy the machine for their own production and they rent the extra capacity to others to access it. And it's also an opportunity to these small companies to be into this technology without the initial investment. The opportunity and the existence of these small tollers within the region that I'm taking care of have been pivotal for the growth of the HPP technology and the consolidance of the HPP technology in the territories. But the HPP, the tolling are not a big percentage of the total machines installed. But even though they are not many machines doing tolling, I would say that the importance have been very, very important to develop the technology within these regions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think there is a big difference being a toller in US or being a toller in Europe, because in US you can gather customers for 700 kilometers around, but here in Europe you have to be close to them or the distance are shorter, so we are not get used to go far away to get a third-party treatment. So our tollers here in Europe should be close to the customers. They have a big role here to promote the technology and to bring the technology to companies that they don't buy the machine or they cannot afford the machine initially and maybe later or so on. And I would like to make a special mention to Delhi 24 in England and HPP tolling in Ireland, because they both are in Ireland. And well, to be in an island is that you have two limitations, and one is the sea around you, which means the transport sometimes is more complicated. And in the case of England, also the customs procedure. So it's not easy to bring food abroad for a treatment. So to be a toller in those islands, is have helped us to promote the technology in these two countries. So I think they are playing a an important role, and especially in England, because in England is always where the trends from US land first, and it's probably the country where we can find most of the most innovative products. So I guess our toller there, the E24, has a really important role to promote the technology.
Okay, and finally, George, what about Asia?
Yeah, I was going to say that, as Marta said, geography is a heavy conditionant of the success of tolling as a business itself. So the US offers unique perspective in that sense. China could be similar, however, the regulations forbid that a product is manufactured in one place and another step of the production takes place in a different factory. So that limits the opportunities for tolling. Not so for OEM. OEM manufacturing is growing very fast in China. Of course, the companies that have the capacity, they focus on manufacturing for third parties. So each actor specializes in their role in the chain. But where we're seeing that tolling could have an opportunity similar to the US is in India, because India, the logistics are terribly complex, especially the cold chain. Roads are difficult or long. The climate is hot, so it's quite difficult to move product around. So we see the opportunity in setting tolling centers around the country in different north, south, east, west. We have recently a player doing that. Creative Food Specialties in Hyderabad in the south of India is offering tolling quite with some success. I mean, they just started and they already have a few customers with their central kitchens and juice line, so they can offer OEM or tolling. And they are getting a lot of requests lately, and there is a lot of interest in that business model in India because, as mentioned already, the companies, when they are starting, they care a lot about the product, but they have limitations in terms of investment. So for them, it's much more attractive to focus all their budget into marketing and growing the brand rather than acquiring equipment. And that can be a win-win for the companies that are not interested in developing a brand or a product, but more on operations, and will specialize in that through tolling, automation, etc. So I think India will be a good example in Asia for tolling. The other example I would like to mention, especially an honorific mention, is Singapore and Malaysia, because as I mentioned, the tolling of durian is what is pushing the industry here. It's allowing the players to export to China because otherwise it's very difficult for durian to meet the requirements of the authorities in the customs in China. They are very strict for this product, and it's a product that is very dirty. So it's a magical combination that pushes the companies to look for solutions. And the fact that our tollers are also kind of opportunistic tollers, as Roberto mentioned, and David. So during season of durian will be all they are processing, but that's enabling the development of the durian industry and will allow players to grow and invest further in their own equipment in the future. But for sure, I think tolling is perhaps the best tool that we can have in HPP because it allows the technology to be democratized. Otherwise, the investment barrier will take down many companies that otherwise will have to face the choice: do I keep my commitment to my product and quality, or do I sacrifice it in the name of expansion? We've seen this case in many countries where our customers begin with HPP, they meet a lot of success. Then, as they grow, they tend to sell the business to other players that stop the HPP and jump into pasteurization, and then the sales just vanish because the product isn't as good as it used to be, and they lose their base of customers, and they cannot acquire new customers because they are the same product that there are hundreds on the shelf. So I think that HPP allows these small players to grow, uh, but there are the geographical constraints. So for the US, I think it's a magical tool for any startup. And I will always remember the case of Mush when I saw them in Shark Tank and a few years later, they are everywhere in the
Yeah.
US.
Yeah, great stories related to tolling and then sometimes acquiring their own equipment. And now we have been
If
discussing.
you allow me, Oscar, sorry, I would like to close this question by giving a special credit and a special thanks to our net of partners, of tollers all over the world, because with the help of these tollers, we have been developing very good products. We have been helping other local manufacturers to develop other products, and thanks to this, they are all growing and they are all creating the demand on these high quality standard products in different markets. And without the collaboration of these dollars, wouldn't have been impossible. Let's bear in mind that also receiving samples from all over the world to our headquarters, to our offices where we have our demo kitchen and our product incubators is not always so easy. So thanks to the collaboration of these dollars that are closer to these other manufacturers and so on, we have been able to develop these products, and it's been great to count on their help. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Totally
Thank
agree.
you.
Bravo.
Thank you,
Sorry.
David, for the mention strategic alliance without any doubt with our dollars. And finally, we have been discussing a lot regarding HPP in our markets, but I would like to drop the last question. What are the main food trends in your geographical areas, Marta, for example?
Well, I think like we will agree. I mean, we will all have the same trends, which is to find less processed food products and to reduce the additive and to have ready meals with the less processed in general. Not only consumers but also customers in general, especially for those working with the food service. I think the trend there is to have to standardize the recipe, to have a central kitchen or a dark kitchen, where they can produce the food they are gonna offer in the different restaurants every day, so they every day get the same result, regardless. Not taking care about the chef who is if he's the chef in one place or in the other, or there is any different way in making the things. So
And I guess that's part of the same thing after COVID, that the lack of people is making restaurants to get ingredients already processed. And what a better way to have them not only standardized but safe, nutritious. I mean, having all the benefits that our technology could offer. So that's also a response from this new trend of not having enough people, or simplifying, at least in certain operations, to get ingredients. So as Marta mentioned, one big trend is ingredients. Ingredients are now mainly sourced by companies, and majority of our companies have a very strong food service programs, especially in avocado. Avocado companies are predominantly 60% food service based and 40% retail. Those companies have a very strong food service program, and that's how they make business. So creating new products that are standard, that are safe, and then that are nutritious. And in terms of trends, I mentioned here, at least in the US or North America, I would say that pet food is by far the fastest growing in my view here. And obviously the crown, well, still guacamole in Mexico, they're still growing. And I believe that in Latin America the avocado is also growing. We have a lot of interesting companies that are looking at creating guacamole products with HPP. So that's also something that will continue growing, because the demand of avocado is still on is still high, and there's more countries adopting avocado, and one of those is China as well. China, starting to get a taste for avocado, and so that will push the growers to get more products like avocado. And same with pets, or people are getting more and more pets, so therefore getting more and more good quality foods. That's from my side.
Well, I will complement something from my side, from Latin America area, because the main of that avocado products, the raw material, come from Latin America. So, well, the thing is, HPP keeps this freshness without compromising the nutritional value of the avocado products. So, in Latin America, that kind of raw material, it's exported to USA. So I would like to highlight that from my side, and also the consumers in Latin America are looking for more healthy options with claims like detox or bio or without additives. So that's very, very important, because HPP can give this kind of healthy and convenient and fresh food. So that's from my side.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
HPP.
complementing. Sorry, Oscar. I go ahead.
Yeah.
Complementing what Maria said, in countries, for instance, in Latin America as well, like Chile, where they have this kind of policies for food safety and for advertising, where they have these seals like high in sodium, high in additives, or high in fat, or whatever. Having a technology like HPP that helps you to reduce, salt, preservatives, and so on, will help you also to remove some of those seals from the surface of the product. And this is a trend that besides and beyond Nutri-Score, which is more or less the approach that we are having in Europe and similar to other countries, there are also other countries that are having similar approach, like to have this kind of black seals or warning in the product. And consumers are getting more and more concerned about health and healthy options. And well, within my area, within the countries that I take care of, I would say that the biggest trends are for ready meals and protein products. Usually, the biggest and the most of the options were meat products. But what I'm seeing now is that, especially in the north of Europe, it's the trend now for more seafood products, ready to eat or ready to cook, and also alternative protein like vegan products or protein that are coming from vegetables are now taking the leads. And yeah, in most of the markets that I'm taking care is that this is kind of the most innovative thing. So not bigger than that.
Okay, yeah. So HB very aligned, I think, with the current consumer demand, and yeah, this kind of customer behavior, we can say. I don't know, George, if you want to complement something regarding trends. I think we have more or
No,
less.
I more or less I'm aligned with my colleagues. The only thing I'll mention is that I'm seeing it very clearly in China, but worldwide I think it's the same situation. There's a contraction on consumption. So people, instead of buying a lot of different products, low quality products, spending a lot of money in that, they are being more conscious about spending, and instead of spending more in less, they are focusing the spend in the expenses in higher end products. So that mixed with the learnings from COVID that were that you need to be healthy regardless of the situation, because that will benefit you. We also saw the benefits of being healthy during the COVID pandemic. So it's driving the customers to take healthier or higher quality choices when it comes to spend, and that favors HPP from a nutrition health perspective and from a quality perspective. I mean, we can see a big. We had that feedback in Shanghai 2 weeks ago during the exhibition. People were shocked at the quality of the juices from our customer that we were showcasing there.
Yeah,
So I think
generic issue. I think that that consumers looking for value-added products in terms of nutritional and also ingredients and so on, as you mentioned, different for natural claims and so on. All right, so I think we have been discussing about different topics of this HPP and how is everything worldwide happening right now. I hope the audience enjoyed the session, and yeah, that this discussion helps everyone to understand a little bit more the HPP market and what HPP can provide and how can HPP can adapt to these consumer trends. And it's been great to have you, the whole team here for this session, guys. And that's it. Let's keep this running and hope everyone keeps stay tuned with the HPP Innovation Week sessions. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.